Good morning. Welcome, everyone, and thank you all for being with us today. This is our first virtual Community Resources Conference. We decided to start these meetings as a way to get more information out to you about our services and resources for your communities, and also as a way for you to share information with other community organizations and agencies about the services you provide. Now, with so many communities struggling, it's more important than ever that we work together to help residents in the communities we serve. Next slide, please. Before we get started, we need to go over some protocols for the meeting. We're using Teams today, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. It's a great platform for virtual meetings. Since this is our first team meeting with this group, and it's a pretty big group, we'll use only the chat feature today. So we will ask you to mute your microphones, please, and if you would turn off your cameras. We're using the chat feature, which provides a great way for participants to interact during the meeting, as we've already started interacting with each other. You can use it at any time during the meeting to ask questions or make comments or even to share resources with the rest of the meeting. To ask a question, for those who aren't familiar, you click on the message icon at the top of your screen. And again, you can ask questions or make comments at any time during the presentation. And after all of the presentations are completed, we'll do our best to answer your questions. Next slide, please. Today, we'll be sharing information that we provide to our customers in advance of the winter season and at other times during the year, with special focus on assistance available to our customers during these difficult times. Next slide, please. We also have guest speakers today. Eric Gilbert from NYSERDA, Sharon Ibanez from New York City Human Resources Administration, and Michael Qualet from Self-Help Virtual Community Services. I'll be introducing them later this morning. We thank them in advance for their participation. Next slide, please. Before we get started with the agenda, and as a little virtual warm-up, because we can't be together, we're raffling off 2 Amex gift cards to thank you for your participation today. So let's get started. Okay, we have a winner. What is Vargas? And congratulations, and we'll be sending you an email with your digital gift card. Okay, and let's give it another whirl, get another winner. Okay, Nadia Bazante, again, another winner. Congratulations, and we'll get that gift card out to you. Okay, so now to get back to business. Can I have the next slide, please? I'd like to introduce Christina Lee Gallo from the outreach team. She'll be presenting on the new state law that provides special customer protections and the assistance that we're providing to our customers during COVID. Christina?
Good morning, everyone. The pandemic has impacted everyone, and some customers are struggling with their bills. We want to let our customers know that they're not at risk of being disconnected and that we're here to help them. Next slide, please. On March 7th, a new law was passed that provides significant protections for our residential customers. This includes ensuring that customers are not turned off for non-payment, even after the state of emergency is lifted, to customers who self-identify as being financially impacted by COVID. This new law provides the right for affected customers to enter into a payment agreement or renegotiate an agreement they already have with the company and no down payment. However, it is important for customers to know that they do not need to enter into a payment agreement in order to receive the protections of the new law. Another benefit of establishing a payment agreement is the customer is not subject to any late payment charges. In order for customers to receive these protections, They must notify us and self-identify that they've been financially impacted by COVID-19. They can do so online through my account, or they can call 100-75-CON-ED. In order to make customers aware of the protections that the law provides, we implemented a multi-channel educational campaign. This image here is a sample of our bill insert that was sent to all our customers back in September. We also have continuous messages on the bill, on our website, and on our phone system. Again, we want our customers to know that we're here to help them. Next slide, please. We've developed payment agreement campaigns to let customers know that they can get help and to encourage them to use self-service. For customers who are having financial difficulty because of the COVID-19, they can get assistance by utilizing self-service options in the website on my account. We wanted customers to know that they can set up their own flexible payment agreement terms online, but if they need help, they can also call us. This email provides instructions on how to register for my account and how to set up a payment agreement, such as choosing their down payment, which again can be zero, their installment amount, and the duration of their agreement online. We also included a payment agreement tutorial video, which provides step-by-step instructions on how to register for my account and how to set up a payment agreement. If customers need any additional help, we created a new resource direct number, so this way they can speak to someone. The representatives on this phone line has screen sharing capabilities in the event customers need help navigating our website. Next slide, please. So we just didn't want to send an email, and we wanted to engage with customers who do not have an email address with us. So to simplify the registration process, we placed a QR code on the mail piece to make it easier for our customers. Once they scan the code, it brings them directly to the registration page from my account, and they can take advantage of our self-service options. The bottom of this mailer reminds customers of the new protections. Again, with the active state of emergency, we want customers to know that if they have been impacted financially by COVID, they can let us know online or call us so this way we can protect their account. Next slide, please. So we created a new resource direct line for low income and at-risk customers to provide support to those who are not using online self-service. We had special training for the staff at the call center, which included navigating through self-service, how to sign up for and navigate my account, and enroll in company programs. And in that training session, we also had refresher training on governmental assistance programs, energy efficiency, and NYSERDA programs. Also, as I mentioned before, the representatives have screen sharing capabilities in the event customers need assistance navigating the information online. Next page, please. Thank you. So we also updated the bill help page that provides information on low income and programs that customers would qualify for on the rate. We wanted this page to be helpful and expanded the page. It now includes more information on the low-income program, and we also added other resources to this page, such as any relevant material on COVID-19 protections, payment assistance programs, energy share, NYSERDA programs, and the Edison marketplace, where you can buy energy efficient products and automatically apply any rebates that are available from Edison. Next slide, please. Thank you. In addition to giving customers a lot of resources on how they can pay their bill, we're giving them resources on how to manage their bill. One of the resources is the Home Energy Analysis tool. To use this tool, the customers gets asked a series of questions on how they use their energy, such as how many hours a day do you watch TV and how many cable boxes you have in your home. After the customer answers all these questions, an analysis gets done and you're provided with a home energy breakdown. So as a customer, I got my first heating bill in our new home and I realized that I should stop setting my thermostat at 75 degrees because it should be 68 in the day and 60 at night, which could save me about 15% on my bill. Next slide. And now Danielle Falanga, a member of the outreach team, will talk. Done.
Good morning, everyone. Advertising is another way that we're reaching our customers with important information, especially as we're able to have a very targeted approach. Next slide, please. Our objective for this campaign is to reach and educate our low-income and at-risk customers about self-service options that will be beneficial to them. And the channels that this campaign is on is social media, digital, and print in both English and Spanish. And the key message and takeaway is that customers can set up an online account to learn how to reduce their household's energy use and how to pay their Con Edison bill over time. The call to action is to learn more, and the ad directs them to the page that Christina just described. The two ads on the screen are examples of the print ads that we have running, and as this is a very targeted campaign, some examples of the publications that these are in are the Queens Chronicle, the City Review of New Rochelle, Harlem Community News, the Bronx Times, Brooklyn Downtown Star, and so forth, as well as Spanish language publications. Next slide. Here's some examples of the social media ads that are running on both Instagram and Facebook. And again, these are bilingual in both English and Spanish, depending on the user's language setting. In addition to this, we have digital ads running on websites based on where our target audience is online. So for example, on CBS or CNN.com. The ads are intended to reach these customers where they are with information that will help them. Next slide, please. In addition to targeted advertising, we also have campaigns that run on an annual basis and are intended to reach all customers as they're focused on safety. So one of those campaigns is our gas safety campaign, and there are two messages there. One is general gas safety awareness, so smell gas, act fast, what to do if they suspect a possible gas leak, as well as the 811 call before you dig messaging. In addition to that, we run an annual campaign on scam awareness, and that really focuses on the signs of a scam and what to do if they suspect one. And John will actually run through that full campaign a little bit later. And lastly, we also have ads running on reporting a power outage, just to remind customers that should they experience an outage, they should be reporting it to us, whether that's online, by phone, or by text. Next slide, please. We have focused multi-channel customer education programs around energy safety. Next slide, please. So this is an overview of our gas safety education program and the core components. So we conduct an annual odorant mailing to all of our customers. Those receiving a print bill would receive a bill insert, and those customers on e-bill would receive a postcard, which is the screenshot on the right side. In addition to that, all new customers would receive the gas safety bill insert with their first bill. We also send a mailing to residents of master meter buildings every other year. So looking to reach those folks with the postcard and information as well. In addition to that, we have seasonal email campaigns. We're conducting at least one campaign in the spring and another in the fall around general gas safety awareness. So focused on that smell gas, act fast information, as well as the dig safely messaging. The advertising campaign that I mentioned is also around awareness, and that runs annually as well. We have a dedicated webpage for gas safety that has more in-depth information. It can be translated into multiple languages. And we also have the gas safety brochure on that page in 5 languages as well. Our national gas safety brochure is available in print. When we're attending community meetings, we're bringing that out with us as well to distribute. We include gas safety information in every edition of our customer news publication. This is published on a quarterly basis and distributed to all of our customers. And lastly, gas safety is really the foundation of our school children education program, with the goal of teaching children about safety in a fun and an engaging way. Next slide, please. So just to look at what we're doing on gas safety, the screenshot is of the gas safety brochure, and this is sent annually to all of our customers in January as a bill insert. We also include electric safety information in customer news, as well as in weather-related email blasts, whether those are storm-related or heat advisories, we're including that electric safety information. And as well, this is included in our school children's education program along with gas safety. And with that, I'll quickly turn it back over to Christina.
Next slide. Thank you. And as a supplement to the brochure mailing, we provide energy efficiency and safety information to our customers through our winter prep and electric safety email campaigns. The winter prep emails are segmented between homeowners and renters with tips that are customized for those two customer groups. Some of the tips are how customers can save up to 15% on their heating bills and also provide information on managing their bill and energy costs. The electric safety email has tips on how we can celebrate safely during the holiday season. Some of the tips are to replace fraying power cords and to cover unused outlets so children can't play with them. And next slide, please. And now Jen will talk about our LSC program.
Thank you. We can go next slide, please. So I'm going to talk about our LSC, our Life Support Equipment Program, which is also known as LSC. So who can be registered as an LSC customer? Any customer who relies on electrically operated life support equipment, such as a respirator or hemodialysis equipment, can be registered as a life support equipment customer. So if anyone in your communities is using this type of equipment, it's important that we are aware. So how do we create education and awareness around the program? Well, for starters, when customers open up a new account, we pose the question and we ask them at that time. Additionally, we send out annual mailings. So we send out annual mailings to our active LSC customers, as well as to buildings where residents may not receive a Con Edison bill. We do email blasts to medical equipment providers, and we also share this information at community events, which has been difficult this year for us. Next slide. So why is it important? Well, it's important during weather events like storms and heat events. During these times, we send out automated outbound calls to LSC and medical emergency customers. So during inclement weather and during possible expected outages, the messages include pre-notification during and after the events. In the case of an outage, we do try to make personal contact calls to our LSC customers. And if our customer service representatives are unable to reach our LSC customers, then after 2 attempts, we make referrals to the NYPD and the municipality in Westchester. If for some reason the NYPD or municipality is unable to check on the customer, we then send a company employee to visit the premises to make personal contact. Next slide, please. So how does one enroll in our LSC program? Well, one, if customers have a My Account, they can complete the online life support equipment form straight from there. We also have a downloadable form directly at our website at coned.com/life support equipment, where you can fill out that form and email the completed form to lifesupportequipment@coned.com. Medical certification is required. And lastly, we also have this number 1-877-582-6633, which is a phone number where one can speak directly to someone in our life support equipment group. And again, just to remind everybody, these will be shared, the slides will be shared post the event, so no need to write this down, we'll share this. And next slide, please. Next slide. And now I'm going to introduce John Minners from the Outreach Group to talk about emergencies.
Good morning, everyone. I'm John Minners. I'm actually going to talk about a few topics, and we'll start with emergencies. So, it seems like every year there's some kind of event, whether we have a winter storm or a heat wave, and if COVID wasn't enough this year, we had a tropical storm. So every event is different, but there's one constant, and that's we'll experience some outages during these emergencies. So what we're trying to tell our customers, and we hope that you pass this information along, is that if that the customers should not assume that we know that their power is out. Even if they have a smart meter, it's important that they contact us just to let us know that when their power is out. And so when there's several ways they can report an outage. They can go on to coned.com. They can use our app, whether it's an iPhone or an Android phone, and they can also call the 1-800-75-CON-ED line. And when they report an outage, it's important to leave an email or phone number. So this way, when we have updates, we can provide it to them, and we'll text them or email them as we're getting closer and closer to restoration. They can also track the outage information at coned.com/Storm Central. And if at any time, once they provide their email or their phone, and they get these text alerts, they could opt out at any time by texting stop to the number on the screen. Again, we're going to provide this information after this event, so you don't need to write it down. But it's important to have this information, and please pass it on to your constituents. Slide. So as Danielle mentioned before, I'm going to talk about some scam awareness. Scams are prevalent. They target everyone. There's no one immune to a scammer trying to trick you into parting with your money. We do see an uptick of scams against vulnerable populations like seniors and immigrant populations, and we also see a lot of scammers target commercial businesses that rely on, they'll tell them, oh, we're going to turn off your power in an hour, and they need they're scared that they're going to lose service in an hour, so they'll quickly pay, and they're being scammed. So we're seeing this a lot, and we just want to let our customers know about some of the scams that they should be aware of. Next slide. So one such scam is someone pretending to be a Con Edison employee. We have contractors and Con Edison employees that go out and they're installing smart meters, or they're reading meters, or they need to access your home for whatever reason. So we want to make sure that you know who a Con Edison employee is, and so it's important to know that a Con Edison employee is trained to show their ID, to show their employee ID number, and to wait and be patient as a customer calls the 1-800-75-CON-ED to verify that that employee is supposed to be there. If at any time a Con Edison employee or a contractor is being impatient, chances are, and they're refusing to show an ID, chances are it's a scammer trying to gain access to your home, or a bad employee, and we'd like to know that as well. So please call us at 1-800-75-CON-ED. In addition, scammers are more sophisticated than ever before. Anytime new technology comes out, chances are that scammer knows that technology, knows how to use it, and knows how to leverage it to scam a victim. So I'm going to go a little off script and tell you, yesterday I actually received a call. I didn't pick up. It went to voicemail, and I listened to my voicemail, and I was told that $745 was being taken out of my Amazon to purchase an iPhone, and that if I didn't make that purchase, I could press 1. And so I knew that Amazon doesn't usually make phone calls to me, but when I actually copied the phone number and did a search online for that number, it actually came up as an Amazon customer service line. So I called I called customer service at Amazon, contacted them, and I asked them the question, and sure enough, they told me, no one's tried to use your account to buy a phone. We never call in these circumstances. And so I knew I was, they were trying to scam me. Now, I was lucky because I knew about this information. I work in scam awareness. So it's important to empower our customers to have these tools available to them to know when someone's trying to scam them. And yes, your caller ID may say Con Edison on it. It may show our number on it, but that's called spoofing. They're using their technology to trick you. And so if someone calls you, it's okay to hang up on us. It's okay to say, you know what, I'm going to call Con Ed. I'm going to see if there's something wrong with my account I need information on. So because when you call us, you could be sure that you're talking to a Con Edison employee. In addition, you might receive an email that's telling you to pay online, and there's only two web URLs that we accept payments through. One is the regular ConEd.com. That's your bank account. You're checking your savings. You could pay through there. Another one is webpayments.billmatrix.com/ConEd residential. And this is for credit or debit card payments. So if you see any other URL, if you hover over a link and it shows a different URL, again, just call us at the 1-800-75-ConEd line. Just to be aware, Con Edison will never take advantage of you during COVID. Christina Legalo talked to you about all the protections that are available to you. You are eligible for those special protections. We're not threatening to turn you off for lack of payment during COVID. So, please be aware of that. There are a lot of times that these scammers are trying to use COVID to their advantage. We're not going to threaten to turn off your electricity or gas without showing you identification. We're not going to demand immediate payment via prepaid debit card or gift card, which are the usual scams, but now they've evolved and they're including cash apps or Bitcoins in their scams. Cash apps are like sites like Venmo. So we're not accepting payments through those as well. So please, if someone tries to get you to pay through those channels, it's definitely a scam. And we're not requesting any payments for a smart meter. We've seen bills that look exactly like a Con Edison bill for a deposit for a smart meter for $750. We're not requesting any payment for a smart meter installation. So if you receive a bill like that, or if someone tells you you have to pay this, it's a scam. Please call us and let us know. What should you do if you're suspected of being scammed? It's important to call 911. Definitely call 911. Let them know that someone tried to scam you. Please call us at 1-800-75-ConEd so we're aware of the scam. Especially if it's a new scam, we like to get that information and like to pass that on to our customers. And again, let your constituents know, tell them to also let their neighbors know, let their family know. Word of mouth is great at stopping scams. And, I'll go to the next slide and I'll show you what we've been doing to make the community aware of the scams. We take scams very seriously. We send out email blasts on a regular basis. We send out press releases. We post things on social media about scams. Last month was a Scam Awareness Week. We had so we went the extra mile, and we had a number of different channels that we used to provide that information about scam awareness. You'll see here with the guy holding the phone, that was a print ad that went out in publications, the local publications, foreign language publications, Bronx Times, like as Danielle was mentioning earlier. We try to let everyone know and try to use as many different possible newspapers and media outlets as possible to get that information out there. We also, you'll see the woman with the phone, that's an example of a social media post, and we try to boost that post to get that information out to customers. You'll see in the middle here is a press release that we send out to media outlets talking about some of the scams that are out there, and again, letting them know some of the things I let you know in the slide before. And here with the woman at the window, you'll see that's an example of one of the email blasts that we're sending out customers with some information on scams. And below, you'll see an actual customer targeted by scams who shares her story. Go to the next slide. And I'd like to take a moment to talk about our Spotlight newsletter. A Spotlight newsletter, you can go to the next slide. Next slide. Okay. So the Spotlight newsletter is for our concerned customers. Concerned customers are customers who are 62 years or older, blind, have a permanent disability, and are under the age of 18. The Spotlight newsletter is published twice a year. We had one go out in the spring. We just had one go out that was mailed out last week. So some of your constituents may have received this already. And the articles that are aimed to be helpful to concerned customers. They may include articles that you've seen before in our customer newsletter that goes out 4 times a year. We like to, repeat some of that information to make sure customers are aware of Con Edison programs, energy safety information. We also want to make sure that we have information on bill payment options and government aid programs. And here's where you come in. So we regularly, when we go out to events, I try to make contact with some of the community organizations in attendance, and I try, I share my information. I ask them, if you think that you have a program that might be helpful to these concerned customers, please let us know. We would love to include your information in Spotlight. So we've included information on New York Foundation for Senior Centers has a free home sharing program that helps link adult hosts with extra private spaces in their homes. or apartments with appropriate adult guests to share their space. And one of the people that have to be included in this partnership is someone that's older than 60. And we've also recently had something on Fair Fares NYC, which gives income eligible customers a 50% discount on subway and bus fares. And we've also recently had information on, especially during COVID, how to apply online for government benefits. So you don't have to go out to an intake center to get benefits. So, we want to definitely include all these community organizations. It's only a 2-page newsletter, so we try to fit as much as we can, but please feel free, if you want to be featured in Spotlight, to email us at outreach@coned.com. It's usually about 250 words and a picture, and we try if we can. If not, that's okay, as long as the information's out there. And you can go to the next slide. And that's it for me. I'll pass it on to Helen Lee, who's from our Con Edison Energy Efficiency team.
Hi, thanks, John. So I'm Helen. I am in the Energy Efficiency Department here at Con Ed, and I focus specifically on our efficiency program for our low and moderate income customers. Next slide, please. So I'm going to give a brief overview of what energy efficiency is, why it's important, and also share some of our specific programs focused on low and moderate income customers, as well as provide some energy saving resources. So what is energy efficiency? Energy efficiency is when less energy is used to accomplish the same task. So some examples of this are LED light bulbs. Compared to older incandescent light bulbs, LEDs use about 80% less energy and last 15 times longer. Appliances like refrigerators and washing machines can also be examples of energy efficiency. These appliances are becoming more efficient as technology advances, and choosing energy efficiency appliances, which can often be identified with an Energy Star label, is one way to bring energy efficiency into a home. Heating and cooling is also really important. These heating and cooling can often be a large portion, if not the largest portion, of an energy bill. So having efficient heating and cooling systems can be a big way to bring down energy use and energy costs. Examples of this are boilers, furnaces, heat pumps, ACs. Heat pumps in particular are interesting. They are a newer technology that Con Ed and the state are hoping to increase adoption on. They can provide dual heating and cooling and are 3 times more effective at transferring heat than traditional heating sources. And insulation is also an example of energy efficiency. Insulation can help keep heat or air conditioning from escaping so that it can keep spaces warmer in the winter and cooler in the summer when the AC is on. Why is energy efficiency important? For one, since we're using less energy, we're going to be able to have lower energy bills. It can also help increase comfort in the home. One example of this is in older apartments in New York City. Oftentimes in the winter, when the heat comes on, the heat can actually be too hot and uncomfortable, and tenants end up opening windows to have a more comfortable temperature inside their homes. But if a more efficient heating system is installed, then the temperature will be more comfortable, the windows don't need to be open, and wasted energy and heat doesn't need to be let out of the window. Another benefit of energy efficiency, and a huge one, is that it reduces pollution, it reduces carbon emissions, and really helps us fight against climate change. And lastly, energy efficiency also helps improve health and safety. Next slide, please. So it's actually a pretty exciting time for energy efficiency right now. We see a lot of momentum for energy efficiency from the state and the city. Both the state and the city have recently created really ambitious climate goals, and energy efficiency is a key player in how we're going to reach those goals. Additionally, the state is also recognizing that additional support needs to be provided to communities that have traditionally been underserved. So in a lot of legislation, there are also specific goals targeted for those constituents. So I have a couple of examples of recent legislation I'll quickly go over. The first is the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act that was passed by the state last year. The goal here is to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in New York State by 40% by 2030 and by at least 85% by 2050. There's also a stipulation that at least 35% of spending on clean energy programs need to benefit disadvantaged communities. Additionally, there's also New Efficiency New York. This was an order from the Public Service Commission that outlines energy efficiency specific targets for the state. And here there are also specific requirements for utilities to spend 20% of incremental energy efficiency funding on low and moderate income customers, with 40% of that allocated to affordable multifamily buildings. And New York City itself also is doing a lot of work to fight against climate change and reduce carbon emissions. There are a plethora of local laws right now that are addressing these. Some examples here are Local Law 87, which requires energy audits for large buildings, and Local Law 97 that requires emission limits on large buildings. Next slide, please. So here I'm going to share a little bit about Con Edison's energy efficiency initiative. So we have a company-wide goal to triple energy efficiency programs by 2030, and we plan to invest over $1.5 billion by 2025. And some of our initiatives for income eligible customers specifically are that we have a dedicated energy efficiency program team for low and moderate income customers, which is the team that I'm on. And in the next slide, I'll talk about some of our specific programs. We are also in heavy collaboration with NYSERDA, which is the New York State Energy Research and Development Agency, and other New York State utilities to create a statewide LMI energy efficiency portfolio. And the goal for this is to reach more low and moderate income households and increase their participation in energy efficiency programs, as well as improving their experience and the benefits that we provide to them. And one bullet that I neglected to add here is that we're also partnering with community-based organizations to be able to better reach these populations and provide energy efficiency solutions. Next slide, please. So here's a list of some programs that we are offering specifically for income eligible customers. One main thing that we work on is providing incentives that will encourage customers to make energy efficiency upgrades, and we tend to provide higher incentives for our low and moderate income customers. So for residential customers, we refer them to NYSERDA's Empower program, which Eric Gilbert from NYSERDA will talk to in the next section. This is a no-cost program to customers that helps inform them of energy efficiency opportunities. Con Ed, we design and manage a multifamily program for our multifamily customers. These are people who live in buildings with 5 or more units. And more information can be found at coned.com/income eligible. We have a whole list of eligible equipment upgrades that are available for incentives and rebates. Additional program that we offer is energy efficiency kits. So these are kits that we distribute to customers enrolled in Con Ed's Bill Assistance Program. We distribute these on a rolling basis at no cost. These kits can include items like LED light bulbs, low flow shower heads, faucet aerators. This month, we're also adding weatherization measures like door sweep, window insulation kit, foam insulation strip. These are simple measures that customers can install themselves and help save on energy costs. And last on the list is LEDs at food banks. So we distribute LEDs at food banks to SNAP recipients. We've been doing this since 2018, and to date we've distributed at least 50,000 light bulbs to customers. Next slide, please. This is the final slide. So this provides some energy saving resources that you can find on our website. Some of the previous speakers had mentioned some tips that we let customers know about. A larger list of them can be available again at coned.com/income eligible. I've listed a couple of tips on this side here. These are no or low cost tips that we provide for customers to use less energy and save more money. And we also have a marketplace that offers energy efficient products and appliances that customers can purchase. The site also includes efficiency ratings, product reviews, and rebates. And the link there is marketplace.coned.com. And that wraps it up for energy efficiency. The next slide, I have my email and the link to our website. If anybody has more questions, they can feel free to reach out to me. Thank you. And Hollis, I believe you're going to be.
Thank you, Helen. Thanks very much. Okay, I'd like to introduce Eric Gilbert now. He's a project manager from NYSERDA, and he supports NYSERDA's Empower program that serves low to moderate income 1 to 4 family households across New York. He and the program operations team are working to streamline program offerings and simplify the process for families to have access to clean energy savings measures that improve the quality of life in their homes. And he'll be presenting on Empower now. Eric?
Thanks, Alice. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Next slide, please. And one more slide, please. All right. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for having me. Today, I will be presenting on NYSERDA's Empower New York program, which provides no-cost energy efficiency services to income-eligible households across New York State. For today, I will be covering the eligibility requirements to participate in Empower. I'll provide an overview of the program, the steps on a typical project, and we'll cover NYSERDA's project partners and the requirements for contractors in the application process. Next slide, please. So through Empower, NYSERDA relies on a network of energy efficiency contractors to provide services to income-eligible households across New York. Empower contractors provide access to free home energy assessments or audits and provide installation services of energy efficiency measures in the home. Supporting NYSERDA and its network of contractors are 2 primary implementation contractors, ClearResult and Honeywell. ClearResult oversees the day-to-day operations of Empower New York, including the review and processing of Empower applications, the project reviews and approvals, and project completion and invoicing services. Honeywell is an independent third-party quality assurance contractor who performs inspections on approximately 15% of all completed projects. Next slide, please. So who's eligible for Empower? Empower serves households earning less than 60% of the state median income. The program is open to both renters and owners of 1 to 4 family existing homes. While the program is open to renters, landlord permission is typically required prior to most energy efficiency work taking place. For owners of 2 to 4 family homes, Empower eligibility is based on the income level of the renter, not the building owner. So in other words, a building owner who is not eligible for Empower but has renters who are would still be able to participate in Empower New York. In addition to the income requirements, the applicant must be an electric customer of one of the major investor-owned utilities listed here. So, for example, an income-eligible electric customer of Con Ed could participate in the program. Next slide, please. I think we might have jumped over a slide. There we go. As indicated earlier, Empower provides no-cost energy efficiency services, including the installation of air sealing and insulation measures, thermostats, replacements of incandescent light bulbs, and the replacement of inefficient old freezers and refrigerators. While not a heating system replacement program, NYSERDA will consider replacing the heating system if the applicant is denied through the heating equipment repair and replacement or HER program. Through Empower, the average work scope size is around $4,500 with a maximum project size of $10,000. If a customer needs additional work, they are also eligible to participate in Assisted Home Performance with Energy Star, which is currently providing a 50% incentive towards energy efficiency work that is capped at $5,000. And that's through the end of the year, and then it will probably drop back to a project capped of $4,000 per year. Through Assisted Home Performance, customers also have access to NYSERDA's loan products to further offset the out-of-pocket expenses. Next slide, please. And I think we skipped over one again. Could we go back one slide? There we go. So once a customer applies to and is approved for Empower, a participating contractor will reach out to the customer to perform a free energy assessment or audit. Customers are encouraged to accompany the contractor while they are performing the audit, so the contractor can identify opportunities for the customer to save energy and money. Projects are typically assigned to contractors in one of two categories: electric reduction or home performance. If a customer has low fuel usage, and this is usually due to the home having adequate insulation levels, or in the cases where rental instances where the program has not received authorization from a landlord to proceed with work, the contractor will perform an electric reduction audit. Which typically identifies instances where the home can save on electric savings through the replacement of inefficient lighting or by replacing an older refrigerator or freezer. In homes where there's high heating fuel usage, or where the landlord authorization has been received, the contractor can perform a more comprehensive audit, which will also include the evaluation of existing insulation levels and identify areas of the building envelope that could potentially be leaking. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'm now going to provide a high-level overview of the Empower process from start to finish. As Empower has income requirements, we rely on referrals from organizations like the Office for Temporary and Disability Assistance Program and utilities like Con Ed to identify income-eligible households. And once we receive those referrals, NYSERDA will mail the household an application package. In addition, the household can complete an application and submit it to directly to the program as well. The program will review the application and approve or deny or request additional information. Once approved, the project will be determined to be electric reduction or home performance, and an Empower contractor will be assigned. From there, the contractor will schedule the audit, complete the audit, and submit a work scope to the program based on the conditions that were observed at the home. Next slide, please. And once the work scope is submitted to the program, the project is typically reviewed and approved within 1 to 2 working days, and the contractor is notified of the approved measures. The contractor from there will schedule the work and install the approved energy efficiency measures, and then the renter or the homeowner will need to sign any project completion paperwork. From this point, the contractor can just submit the project to the program, and the program will review and approve, and Clear Result will basically pay the contractor for the work that was completed. So there's no bills that are sent to the homeowner or renter. Everything is handled on the back end directly with the contractor. And as indicated earlier, the project may be selected for quality assurance inspections on around 15% of the projects, or at the customer's request, they can request that a quality assurance inspection be performed within 1 year of the project completion. Next slide, please. So as we touched on earlier, there are several implementation contractors that NYSERDA utilizes to run the Empower program. Clear Result runs the day-to-day operations of the program, and Honeywell provides the quality assurance services. In addition to the Empower contractor base, there are also appliance vendors. So if the program approves a replacement refrigerator, for example, an appliance vendor who is typically different than the contractor that did the energy efficiency installation work will schedule a time to replace the refrigerator and dispose of the original for you. Next slide, please. Finally, can we go back one? I think and go forward one. Oh, okay. So we missed a partner in implementation. EFS also provides income eligibility services for the program, much like Clear Result does. So here's some statistics. So Empower's been around since around 2004, and through November of this year, NYSERDA has served nearly 170,000 households through Empower New York. And that has resulted in 142.6 million annual KWH savings, 2.4 million annual MMBTU savings, and it's saved New Yorkers 51.8 million in annual dollar savings. Next slide, please. So here's some basic information regarding NYSERDA's Empower contractor network. So we currently have around 172 participating Empower contractors who serve throughout New York State, with the exception of the PSEG Long Island territory. Contractors must apply to be an Empower contractor and be approved to participate. And they also need to agree to NYSERDA's terms outlined in our participation agreement. And to perform work through the program, contractors must hold the necessary credentials through the Building Performance Institute or other approved credentialing body for the measures that they are installing on a project. Next slide, please. So to apply for Empower New York, an application must be completed, and the applicant must provide income documentation, which can be an award letter for HEAP, SNAP, TANF, or supplemental Social Security, or they could also just provide their gross income for the past month, which will include any pay statements, award letters, and other forms of income, which are outlined on the application itself. In addition to the income documentation, NYSERDA will need a copy of the current electric bill, gas bill, or other fuel bill types, and proof of ownership, or in the case of renters, a copy of the landlord authorization. If any required information is missing, Clear Result will reach out to the applicant and request any missing information. Next slide, please. And here are some helpful links to learn more about the Empower New York program. This wraps up my portion of the presentation, and I can make my contact information available if there are any additional questions. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Eric. Next slide, please. Please welcome Sharon Ibanez. He's a supervisor and community coordinator from New York City Human Resources Administration, and he'll be presenting on the 2020 through 2021 Home Energy Assistance Program.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your time. Today, I'm going to speak about the Home Energy Assistance Program of New York City. Next slide, please. So we are now in a 2020-2021 season of the Home Energy Assistance Program. Next slide. So what is HEAP? What is Home Energy Assistance Program? HEAP is a program funded by the federal, and it is intended to assist low-income households or low-income New York City residents in specific who pay a high proportion of household income for home energy in meeting their immediate energy needs. So this program is actually designed to help pay your energy bills, such as electricity, gas, and oil bills. So in New York City, we have three main heating types. So we have electricity, we heat our house with electricity, gas, or oil. And I believe with heat program, we only have one client who is actually heating the house with wood, using a wood in Staten Island. So mostly it's electricity, gas, and oil. So if you have an electricity, gas, and oil bills, and you pay heating bills directly to the vendor, we may be able to help you out. And also home energy assistance program, we also help, or we can help you to repair or replace broken furnace or boiler. So if your heating equipment, if you have issues with your heating equipment, if it's not safe for your health because it's blowing some air or something, then we might be able to help you as well. And even if the heat and utilities are included in your rent, we may be able to assist you with some dollar amount. Next slide, please. So the HEAP program has components. And the first component is the regular HEAP, then emergency HEAP. We also have the heating equipment repair and replacement component. We have the heating equipment clean and tune component, and we have the cooling assistance component. Next slide, please. Then we will talk about the regular HEAP. So regular HEAP is an annual supplement intended to assist eligible households in paying a portion of their energy cost. So this is just an assistance to pay for your bill. So this is not a replacement for your payments. So you still have to do your payments for towards your bills. So this is just to assist you. And this is just a one-time payment that we do every season, in which HEAP season starts usually in November, and it's scheduled to end like around March. Then the regular benefits are available to households paying separately for heat, and to households who make undesignated payments for heat in the form of rent. So household paying separately for heat, like if you have a heating bill, for example, in New York City specifically, you have a heating bill with Con Ed, or you have a heating bill with National Grid, or you have a heating bill with PSEG, LIPA, or you have a heating bill with an oil company, then you may be able to receive a regular benefit that ranges from $350 to $741, depending on income, vulnerability of the household members, and heating type. So when you speak about income, HEAP eligibility is actually divided into two income categories. One with a higher income and the other one with the lower income. So if you have a lower income, you may be able to have an additional benefit in addition to the main or to the base benefit. Vulnerability of the household members, meaning if your household has a member of the has members who are under 6 years old, or 60 and over, or if the household is a member who has a permanently disabled. So those are the vulnerability of the household members. So if one of your household members falls into that category, then you may be able to get an extra as well. And heating type. So depending also on what types of heating. So if you are actually heating with National Grid or Con Ed, meaning you're heating with gas or electric, then your base benefit would be $350. And depending on your income and vulnerability of your household members, you may be able to get an add-ons to that 350. And if your heating type is oil, the base benefit would be 675, and then you may be able to get the add-ons for the vulnerability and income as well. And then regular HEAP, it is already open since November 2nd, so it's ongoing right now, and it's scheduled to be closed on business day on March 15, 2021, or until funding allocated to this component is exhausted. So whichever comes first. So if ever that the funding will be exhausted before March 15, then in that day we will be closing the regular HEAP component. Next slide, please. Emergency HEAP. So emergency HEAP is another component which is designed to meet the household's immediate energy needs and to resolve energy crisis situations, such as household without fuel or have less than quarter tank of fuel, or having heat-related utility service currently disconnected or scheduled for disconnection. So if you are having some problems with your utility bills, your heating bills, you have a disconnection, or maybe your service is already shut off by, for example, National Grid or Con Ed, then you may be able to actually get this emergency heat. And the emergency heat requirements, in addition to the regular heat, is you have to be a customer of record for this component. You need to have a disconnect notice from the utility companies, or you need to have a less than quarter tank of oil if you are heating with oil. And then you need to have a proof that you don't have enough resources to pay for your emergency. And also you have to get the regular heat first. So you need to have the regular heat first before availing this emergency heat. So household will receive an emergency benefit of either $140, $350, $490, or $675, depending on the heating type. And then this component will open in January 4th of 2021. And this is also scheduled to close on March 15 of 2021, or until funding allocated to this component is exhausted as well. So whichever comes first. Next slide, please. Then the third component is the heating equipment repair and replacement. So this this component is actually for low-income homeowners. If their dwelling is two-family house or less, they may be able to actually qualify for this component of heat. So repair is defined as the labor and materials necessary to restore or fix an eligible household's essential primary heating equipment to a safe and usable condition without replacing the actual heating plant or furnace or boiler. This includes repair and or replacement of chimneys, other venting systems, and oil tanks. So this is just to if your equipment is repairable, then you could actually apply for repair component part of this component. Then replacement is defined as the labor and materials necessary to restore or fix an eligible household's essential primary heating equipment to a safe and usable condition by removal of an existing heating plant and replacement with a new one. So this is a boiler or furnace replacement. So if your heating equipment is not safe for your health, or maybe it's not repairable, then you could actually go to this part of this component, which is the heating equipment replacement. And then household will receive a repair benefit of up to $3,000 and a replacement benefit of up to $6,500, in which we pay directly to the contractor or to the heat participating vendor. Then this component already is ongoing. We opened last October 1st of 2020 for this season, and it is scheduled to close on September 30 of 2021. So technically this component is open all year as of this moment. Next slide, please. Then the next component is the heating equipment clean and tune. So clean and tune is the cleaning of primary heating equipment, but may also include chimney cleaning, minor repairs, installation of carbon monoxide detectors, or programmable thermostats if needed to allow for the safe, proper, and efficient operation of the heating equipment. So this is just to prepare the equipment, for the winter season. So usually a lot of our homeowners apply this before the winter season, but this is also an ongoing component as well, and the household will receive a benefit of up to $400 in this part of this component. Then this component is already open since October 1st of 2020 and is also scheduled to close on September 30th of 2021, in which technically it's also an all-year project component. Next slide, please. Then the last component of HEAP is the cooling assistance component. Cooling assistance is available for HEAP eligible household that include an individual with a documented medical condition that is exacerbated by heat. So in addition to the regular HEAP eligibility, a household has to have a member who has a medical condition and has to be documented by a doctor or a nurse practitioner, and that a medical condition has to be very dangerous if there's an extreme heat. So cooling assistance benefit is an assistance with getting and installing a new air conditioner or a fan. So we just want to make sure, because a lot of our HEAP applicants also get confused about this component. This cooling assistance component is not for helping the household to pay for their electricity when they are actually using their air conditioner. So this component is only to have a new air conditioning, and we pay also for the installation. And this cooling benefit is up to $800. Then the applications of this 2021 cooling assistance must be accepted beginning May 3rd of 2021, which is next summer, and then it's scheduled to be closed on August 31st of 2021, whichever comes first, if the component, if the benefit budget is already exhausted as well. So next slide, please. Now, how to apply. This is a very important question because of this pandemic. You know, we have a lot of options before, but now we are so limited. This is the best way to apply for HEAP. Some of the other part of New York State, they could actually apply online, but unfortunately in New York City, we don't have that online application yet. We're still in the process of actually building that part of the program. So now you could actually apply by mailing. This is the safest way. So you just have to mail a completed HEAP application. The new HEAP application for this program year is actually LDSS 3421 revision May of 2020. So if you have an application which is not this revision of May 2020, just throw that out because we don't accept those applications. And then you have to send it to us, HEAP, Home Energy Assistance Program. Our address is P.O. Box 1401, Church Street Station, New York, New York, 10008. So the applications can be obtained by, you could download it from accessnyc.gov, and then just make sure, because sometimes you might be going to a link in which they would provide you the old application, but hopefully it's not. So just make sure that you check that the revision is 520, and then you could actually, in accessnyc.gov, you could actually fill it out on their website, the application. You could print that one and just make sure that you sign that application as well. Or you could actually request an application by calling us here at HEAP Central. I have the phone number here, 212-331-3126. So you could actually tell them that you want a HEAP application, and we will send it to you, and you could mail that application back to us. Or there's also a second option. You could apply in person to one of our HEAP field offices. So there's about 6 field offices that are open Monday to Friday from 9 to 5. So you could actually go there. We have a HEAP representative that could guide you on how to fill out that application. And you could actually actually submit your documentation as well. Or if you don't feel like mailing it or talking to a HEAP representative, there is also a drop box there on those locations where you could drop your completed HEAP application. Next slide, please. So this is the list of our HEAP field office locations. So we have at least one field location in the 5 boroughs of New York City. So just check those. We have 2 in the Bronx. We have 1 in each Borough, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, and Staten Island. So if you want to apply in person, you could actually go there and talk to a HEAP representative. But please do not mail your application to these addresses. They don't accept mailing in these addresses. Mail it to the PO box, the HEAP Central PO box address that I gave you earlier. Okay, so please do not mail any application to these addresses. Next slide, please. So for more information, because I know that I can't talk it in like 10 minutes for the whole eligibility process and the qualification and the documentation requirements. So if you want to obtain more information about us, you could call the HEAP Central office, the number 4 in this page. It's a 212-331-3126 numbers. We have a live operators. We have about 8-9 operators in this HEAP Central that is operating Monday to Friday from 9 to 5. Or you could actually leave a message in this one as well. Or you could actually, if you already have an existing application, then you could also call the HEAP telephone 1-800 number or the InfoLine telephone number to see what is the status of your HEAP application. So in behalf of the HRA Home Energy Assistance Program of New York City, I would like to thank Con Edison, and I would like to thank for your time listening to me talking about the HEAP program today. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. That was great. Great presentation. Next slide, please. So our final presenter today is Michael Quallett, Director of Innovation at Self-Help Community Services. Mike recently joined Self-Help Community Services to act as Director of Innovation with specific responsibilities over their virtual senior center. Mike will be presenting on one of the greatest concerns we have as we go through the pandemic, which is how to connect with seniors. Mike?
Thank you very much. And thank you, everybody, for allowing me this opportunity to speak with you. For those of you who do not know, Self-Help Community Services is an organization that is more than 80 years old. It specifically reaches out to those in need all across New York every day. As a nonprofit, it has assisted living facilities, multiple senior centers, delivers meals, and performs a variety of in-home services for our most vulnerable. One of the things we like to tell the people, and encapsulated in this slide here, is even though you're isolated, you don't have to be alone. And that's basically the idea behind a service that we offer called the Virtual Senior Center. Next slide, please. Basically, as part of its mission about 10 years ago, Self-Help noticed that many of its people were becoming unable to come into the centers or were becoming stuck at home. So it developed the technology at the time to bring the services to the person at home. So the Virtual Senior Center 1.0 was built and began taking its first members, and over the years has delivered consistently online, live, instructor-led classes that homebound seniors were able to attend and generally, were able to attend and generally interact with other seniors in a live, instructor-led, safe, secure environment. This is the older version of the platform that was run for many years. Next slide, please. One of the things that we wanted to do was kind of give you an idea of just what this service for Self-Help's members, has achieved. So in the last year, we had over 700 total participants, logging more than 60,000 hours on our classes. We present more than 1,300 plus unique classes every year, or at least in the last year. The participants that are all homebound are logging more than 90,000 hours online. And we have at least 10 weekly touch points as a mean, whereas they don't have any contact outside. They're getting at least an average of 10 on the platform every week. Next slide, please. And then just quickly to give you some kind of numbers around how much time is being spent. This was just a graph of the number of class hours our community members are spending. So this is time they would otherwise not have any engagement at all with the outside world. Next slide, please. And very quickly, our participants' lives have been changed by this service. Literally over and over and over again, the story is the same. We have a senior who was once active or was once, had a spouse. They came to the center. They had services. They were active. And then for one reason or another, health-wise, they get sick, their spouse dies, they can't drive anymore. A variety of reasons, they now become homebound. And Self-Help was able to bring the services to them. Both Ann and John here were longtime members. Ann basically sums it up when she says, I'm still alone physically, but I don't feel the same. I don't feel alone. And that's really, according to her caseworker, rejuvenated her as a person. And she was, someone that was, reticent at first, but now she's one of the most active people on the platform. And then you had John, who was always a helper, always a person that was delivering services to other people. And then he became incapacitated from a stroke and found he couldn't come to the centers and help anymore. So we gave him the opportunity to help his fellow seniors online, and he's been thriving at it for years. Next slide, please. So up until now, the VSC has been specific to Self-Help and its members. And Self-Help itself, like I said, touches more than 20,000 people a day. So our caseworkers were always on the lookout for people they thought that might benefit from the service. This year, through gracious grant from the Mother Cabrini Foundation, we were able to rebuild the platform from the ground up. And now we can offer this service out to other organizations or any organization or community group of any size that wants to build its own virtual platform to deliver content to homebound seniors or other people in group. Next slide, please. So what we've basically taken is 10 years worth of experience delivering this. And as you can imagine, with COVID, the interest has increased dramatically. And there are people out there doing Herculean work, trying to do the exact same thing that the VSC makes very easy and very simple and secure. It enables all of the communities to come online, put them, add their members, deliver content if they want, but they also get access to all of the existing Self-Help content as part of their membership. So even if they don't have content, they can use our content and then start to add their own for their own specific group. And the beautiful difference between the old system and the new one is the new system lets us share that among everybody. So every new group that forms and comes on adds to the collective content that can be delivered and also expands the reach of the individual communities. Next slide, please. So just to give you an idea of what's possible, if you look at the VSC as a service, there's 3 types of ways that you can approach it. If you're a community organization or a group that's looking to reach people that are homebound, especially seniors, excuse me, you can just come aboard the platform. You can say, listen, I have a small group of people or a large group of people that I think would benefit. We'd like to talk to you about adding them to the platform, but we really don't have the time or the manpower or the resources to do the management of the programs or manage their memberships, et cetera. So we'd like you guys to do it. And that's basically, status 1 or the VSC membership basic. But then we also say, hey, look, your people, you want to contact them, you want to interact with them. You can come aboard the platform and build your own community and limit it to your members. And then if you want to, you can share out any content that you have to them. And of course, they can have access to all of our content as part of just being on the platform. And we can grow the community together. Or lastly, if you're so inclined, you can say, I like the idea, but I'd like to keep my community separate. I have my own content. I have my own ways of doing things, but I want to use the platform as a method to distribute things. That's fine. We have that option too. The vast majority of people, especially over the last few months, that are have been growing in leaps and bounds, have opted for the hybrid model to take advantage of the force multiplier that sharing content and information brings. So the VSC then becomes a hub for all that activity. Next slide, please. So make the long story short, how does it work? It's simple. It's based on a plain subscription model for general cases. The larger the organization, the subscription model, there's opportunities for savings. As VSC is growing from self-help, as you can imagine, as a nonprofit, supporting and investing in the platform, many people were able to find funding from the state, the city, the borough, community foundations to pay for theirs. But we also had a good number of people that signed up their mothers, their fathers, their uncles, or themselves, and they pay their own fees. So it's a straight model. There's no long-term contract. It's a rolling month-over-month subscription model for all the groups, and it's pretty straightforward. There's no hidden fees or multiple fees. It's one flat rate depending on which one of the three models that you pick. Next slide. So what we're doing right now is we've spent the last 3 weeks moving all of our current people from our 1.0 platform to our 2. That's all been complete, and they're spending the next month helping us make sure that everything's working fine. Some of these people have been on the platform for 8 or 9 years, so they've been very protective of the platform and making sure that we're not, quote, changing things around. Again, the thing is, and I hope it comes across, in my words, is that for these people that are at home, this is their only contact with the outside world. Many of them don't have family. Many of them don't have anybody to take care of them, and they exist and live completely within the community there. And I can show you the hours logged to prove it. But moving forward in the new year, we are looking to spread this out as much as possible to every type of community, every type of health plan, every type of community center that really wants to be able to offer this service, which is now becoming not even a luxury item, certainly, but a requirement, and give them the ability to do it in a cost affordable manner and in a way that doesn't tax their existing resources. Right now, there's a lot of communities delivering a lot of content online, and they're using some flavor of Zoom and some Google calendars and some website updates, and that's all great. The only problem with that particular method is it won't scale very long, and once the pandemic is over and things start to resume, those people that are currently doing the virtual side will have to actually go back to the physical world, and then they run the chance of having to cut down their services a little bit or invest more in a process, which again, like I said, doesn't scale as well. And that's the difference of the VSC. The VSC really lets you, as a platform, really lets you take advantage of not only existing content, but it explodes the ability of one person to manage, hundreds and, potentially thousands of people in classes. Next slide, please. So I just wanted to include my information in there if anyone was interested in getting directly in touch with us, whether on an individual or group basis. We welcome everybody, and we want to reach as many people as possible. So on any interest one way or the other, please feel free to reach out. And also, next slide, please. Just for you, if you get the deck, I included some videos in there to give you some more information. Just one quick one on the VSC, and those 2 stories from earlier, one of them being John's, and then some information from the actual people. Excuse me. The actual people are live facilitators that lead all of our content classes, some of their reactions and experiences as they've worked on the platform over the last 10 years. Next slide, please. I think that's it. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. And Thank you, Mike, and thanks to all our presenters today. Great presentations. We really appreciate you. We do have some questions that we received for Eric and for Helen. So let me start on those questions, and it looks like we're going to be able to get to all of them before the meeting ends. So question for Eric, I think some more clarification on the Empower program. First question is, how can renters navigate through old appliances provided by owners in order to save?
That's a good question. I mean, through Empower New York, we typically would just replace items like refrigerators and freezers. Need landlord permission typically to do that because the landlord owns the appliance. We have a dedicated form that the landlord would just need to review and sign. It's relatively straightforward. We do it all the time. And once we have the landlord's signature, then we could just come in and replace the appliance, providing that it's old enough to meet the requirements.
Great, thanks. Okay, have more for you.
Sure.
Okay. Can Empower New York go over the dollar amount allotted?
Yeah, so I mentioned a $10,000 per project cap. That's a soft cap. So, you know, if we look at every project on a one-off basis, if it's going to take a few $1,000s more to make a house whole, we can certainly consider that.
Okay, great. And another one for you. Would installation of air source heat pumps be included in electric reduction or home performance?
Yeah, so while it technically is an electric reduction measure, you know, electric reduction projects are what we classify usually as like a simpler project, and it's typically limited to things like refrigerators and light bulbs. The replacement or the addition of an air source heat pump would be a lot more of a comprehensive project, so that would be classified as a home performance project.
Great. And Helen, I have a tough question for you, and I don't know if we can fully answer it. But the question was asked, how can an energy company, an energy services company, help out with our energy efficiency efforts?
Yeah, great question. One benefit of being a utility is that we have close relationships with customers. So we can help provide communication or services to customers easily and communicate energy efficiency incentives and benefits. Does that answer the question? We're also regulated by the state as well. So we are also required to meet certain energy efficiency goals. So that's also a reason why we are helping out and invested in energy efficiency opportunities.
I think the question might have been asking how ESCOs, energy suppliers, can get involved.
That question I am not as aware of.
Okay.
But
Okay, we can try to get some information, and if we can get some information on this, we will post it to the event page. So we'll follow up with that one. Thanks a lot, Helen. And those are all the questions that we received. We answered a lot of them during the meeting, and if people were watching the chat, I know that they acknowledged us answering their questions. So we really thank all of you for attending today. This has been great for us. We really appreciate our presenters and all of the participants. We're going to be sending out a survey in the next couple of days because we're really interested in getting your feedback. So as we develop these events, we can be sure that we address your interests and that we can tailor the events more to your needs and interests. So thanks again for your participation. And we ask that you stay safe and enjoy the holiday season. Bye-bye now. Thanks.